Greetings, in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is again Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal, this is Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition of It All the Thing. People, another week has started again. Just now it's Christmas, you know, people. Just now it's Christmas. Time and tide wait on no one, but I just wait on my people. All my people on Facebook, come on, log on, share the life, all on Bounce Up channel, YouTube. Thank you all for embracing me and the family. Log on and share also. So we start this thing one time. No time to waste. We have things to talk. And the pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
So, people, before I start formally, I just want to send my condolences on behalf of Let Me Talk the Thing family, whether on Facebook or YouTube, to Sterling Henderson's family. Sterling Henderson was a newscaster on I-95.5. I would not have known him personally, but that voice, he had a signature voice that really used. And you wanted to hear when Sterling Henderson did. So tragically, he passed on Saturday morning. So again, I want to send condolences to his family and also his radio family at I-95.5, because they too would have lost someone, and those persons who were listeners of that radio station who loved to hear him broadcast the news, or his friends, and anybody who may have known him. We all send our condolences out to you all, and know that God will work things all out in the end. So again, condolences to Sterling Henderson's family, coming from the Little Thing family. So, people, good news again. Cricket, you know, it's curry chicken, not chicken curry. I think it was last year. Well, remember the incident? We didn't get into the finals because lights went in Guyana and the scoreboard and some back on the scoreboard. And when they did come back, they used the top words, something, whatever, that if you miss, you know, like some incident happened, Duckwoody, something. All the who's cricket people, all they gonna know more than me. Anywho's the long and short story is this. We went back again. This time we were in the finals and curry chicken. Oh, not chicken curry. So let me just give you a little bit of what would have transpired in terms of commentary and also interviews that were had with the two players from the Trinidad Knight Riders. And it's a lot of work and preparation went into this. They didn't just start to do the work 3 months ago. Okay? No, you should know where I'm coming from. Because people can't take a good victory for what it is. You don't always have to put the lily and lily in it, right? So let me play for you some stuff that happens. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I just saw the thing here, you know. Okay, right. There it is.
Don't pull the tail of a lion.
And he has hit that straight like a monster.
This was an all-time battle between two veterans of the game in one of the biggest rivalries in cricket, Trinidad versus Guyana. So they meet in the middle, battle is on, fist bump and all. This is going to be good. Right, Pollard gets the strike. And watch this. Imran Tahir all of a sudden starts changing his field. Now usually if you know Kieron Pollard, this is what he does. When a big player comes to the crease, his game is to slow things right down. At least 30 seconds have passed before Tahir is ready to bowl this ball. He squeezes it through the leg side, just the power of the man. And after this ball, they take even longer to set the field. And if there's one thing we know about Kieron Pollard, don't give him a reason to make you an enemy. So when he's finally ready to bowl the ball, it disappears. 103 meters 6. My word, did he smack this. Next ball, Tahir goes wide, goes dot, and look at the celebration. He's like, ah. Next ball, he's trying to mix it up. He goes straight. It's 2 straight. 5 wides. And look at Pollard, the reaction. Priceless. All right, so the over's gone for 17. Still 2 balls to go. He goes wide, trying to get out of the arc of Pollard. Look at Pollard, telling him, come closer, come closer. He is such a competitor, honestly. One of the very best. Just an anticlimactic single. Pollard is off strike. And of course, there's a heated discussion. This is how quickly things can change in the heat of battle. Pollard finishes with a 16-ball 50. And watch him at the end. He just walking off, stares Tahir down. Lovely hug. Brilliant. These are the battles that make cricket special.
So that's just a little commentary there from a cricket enthusiast. Also listen to Sir Kieron Pollard himself.
Congrats on the victory. Just sum up the campaign and what this victory means for TKR and yourself personally being the MVP.
It means a lot. Obviously, it's a title that has eluded us, for the last 5 years. The last time we'd have won was 2020. We continue to work hard. As I said previously, we sort of changed leadership, understanding that, in everything that you do, change is inevitable. And, we have a new head coach, captain. Puran has been playing CPL for the last 13 years. He has not, won the championship. So it's just for us to give him the support. But again, for the fans and the ownership and everything, I think, they deserve this title.
Yeah, 13 years without a title for Nicky P, finally winning it. Was that something on the back of his mind?
Yeah, obviously it's in the back of his mind. He wanted to bat. He batted like a lion in the last couple of games, getting man in the match twice, getting us to the final. So it's just a matter of us taking us over the line. But again, work would have started long before that in preparing the team, when the tournament started. Again, not normal old talk. It's an old team. But again, it continues to prove that experience beats old talk. And again, for us, it's good for us winning. But again, for West Indies cricket, I think we still need to have the youngsters, come out and show their mettle.
You're not old, Pollard.
And show their mettle, of, wanting it, and not let, as I said, the old guys, come and take it.
Oh. Yeah, lots to talk about aging legs. Was that something that drove you guys to success this season?
Not really. We aging legs only in the Caribbean. All around the world, teams still picking us, early up in the draft, and stuff like that. So, again, for us, we use different things as motivation. But we just wanted to come out and win and prove that we can actually win away from Trinidad and Tobago as well.
Yeah, and how difficult playing here in Guyana? We know the little banters over the years with Warrior supporters and TKR.
Yeah, the banter is great, but as I said, as well after the match, the banter is great, the booing is not great. And for me, as I said, it's boring now. It's not going to do me anything. It's not going to do West Indies cricket anything. For me, as I said, we should be, trying to come together for the greater good, of cricket. So, again, at my age, come on, you come out, you pay any money to come to boo somebody. It's not on, right? It's not on, but again, as I said, I feel sorry for them and the people who do it. Again, I continue to enjoy cricket. As I said, there's no point in hating your own West Indians. Where there's love, understand? And then let's come together as one.
Right, Kieron.
So that's our own Karen Pollard on his take on that continuous going and what when they call the team instead of old people and all that, right? Listen to the coach now, the captain, my mistake.
Piece of cake captaincy.
I wouldn't say it's a piece of cake. Captaincy is a lot of stress and headache, especially around CPL time. A lot of expectations as well. But this last 4 weeks was amazing. Our group is a really special group. Mixed with a lot of youth and experience. For me, the best T20 players in the world was a part of this journey, and for me, it was really easy.
How high does this stand?
I mean, it's right up there. For me personally, I've waited 13 years to obviously win a CPL. Like I said last night, my first international T20 game was in Providence against Guyana. Obviously, to lift the title there is a really, really special feeling for me.
How does this moment right now feel being able to return to Trinidad and Tobago with the CPL trophy?
Yeah, I mean, this week is really special for Trinidad, right? With the Republic Day being a couple of days away. Obviously, Dureem and Kishore getting medals in the World Championship, and then for TKR to come and win the CPL. It's an amazing week. And for us, obviously, the welcome back home has been really special for us. And I just feel like we just didn't win the CPL, but this was for the entire Trinidad and Tobago. The games we played here, everyone came out and supported us. And this month has been really nice.
Any words for the naysayers?
Sorry?
Any words for the naysayers?
I think I said enough last night, but for me, age is just a number. When we picked this squad, a lot of guys counted us out, said the guys' time are done, they're old, time to give the other guys opportunity. But these guys continue to prove why they are legends of the game. Age is just a number, and experience is something you can't buy.
Tell us about the journey this year to the title from the first match until winning.
Yeah, from inception, at first we were dominant from the beginning of the tournament, and then coming to the back end of the tournament, we lost a couple of games, lost some momentum, and we found ourselves in an eliminator game. And as a group, we had to obviously sit and reevaluate, reflect on what has gone right for us and what has gone wrong, and we had to take the hard road. But I just believe that in life, if you want something, you have to work hard for it, and we had to really work hard going into Guyana. We know how style that crowd could be, and we knew we had to win 3 out of 3 games to be successful, and that's what we did.
Hiram Pollard, if I could just ask a question. Hiram Pollard would have spoken immediately after the victory. And what he commented on was the boost that you guys received as well as the West Indies performance. He sort of hinted at it. What are your thoughts on what he said concerning the lack of support for TKR as a Caribbean team?
Yeah, I heard what he said, and he's absolutely right. It's too long now where we continue to hate on our own people. The region is really small. We compete with the rest of the world, and yet still, when someone is great and doing really well, yet still we find a way to bring them down. And for us, that's really disappointing. The boos, we could tolerate it as players, but from a fans' perspective, we still represent West Indies at some point in our career, and the same people will support us. So why when we play for Trinidad versus Guyana or any other islands, they're booing us, so they're booing him especially, and that's really disappointing. I just think that sports bring everyone together. The CPL brings everyone together, and we see the love, especially here in Trinidad and Guyana, how the fans come out. And instead of we using that for hatred or trying to bring someone down, at the end of the day, we're human beings. We can come together as one.
Just a light note for me. Where do you get the spirituality from?
Sorry?
You're always spiritual. Where do you get that aspect of your life? Where did it come from?
Yeah. But 10 years ago, when I almost lost my life in that accident, I don't believe I was to be here doing what I'm doing now. God has given me a second chance, and I'm just really happy to be in this position. To show the world the talent He's blessed me with. For me, I just want to continue to put smiles on my fans' faces and show the world obviously what my God has done for me. So, you can say I'm a spiritual, but I'm just a believer, and just really happy that I can continue to do what I love to do.
Other than talking the title, what are the other highlights for you from the tournament?
For me, it's just how we come together. Different people from all over the world. We had guys from New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan. We all came together for one goal. And at the end of the day, it was to be successful. And that's what we did.
Right, so that was the captain of TKR there. Then we heard Karen Pollard. And we heard the commentary there. And congratulations to our Trinidad Night Riders on their victory in Guyana. So curry chicken run things, not chicken curry. And again, it's a friendly rivalry we have in the Caribbean, but some people taking this booing thing, and as Captain Pollard said, same people going in when they go and play in the where it is the CPL or wherever it is, it'll be trained for the same people. When they're playing all over in India and all that, the same Karen Polo, all them all will be trained for. So what is booing thing about? As he said, to getting outdated and stale. So I just saw something here. This was 249 days ago, not 90 days ago, right? 249 days ago. It was in The Guardian, and it says CPL 2024 viewership breaks record, exceeds 1 billion. So it says here, for the first time in its history, the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League, CPL, has surpassed the billion viewership mark, combined in digital and broadcast platforms. The total audience for the 2024 tournament reached an astounding 1.13 billion, a remarkable 32% increase from 2023. This surge in viewership was fueled by growth across key markets such as India, the Caribbean, and the United States, as well as a significant uptick of CPL's social media engagement. These numbers have solidified the CPL status as one of the most watched cricket tournaments globally. The CPL reached audiences worldwide through premier broadcast partnership in regions including the Caribbean, India, the Middle East, the UK, the USA, Canada, New Zealand, and South Africa. Additionally, the tournament was streamed live on CPL YouTube and Facebook channels, providing access to fans in all other territories. Just reading how big this thing is. In 2024, editions featured 34 matches played across 6 host nations: Antigua, Barbados, Guyana, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, and Trinidad. The St. Lucia's King triumphed in the final, clinching their first ever CPL title at the Guyana's National Stadium in Providence. Pete Russell, CEO of CPL, expressed his excitement about the growth. This milestone is a monumental achievement for the CPL. Crossing the 1 billion viewership mark has been a long-standing goal, and reaching 1.13 billion demonstrates an immense appeal of the league across the Caribbean and worldwide. We are thrilled with this growth and are eager to build on this momentum for even greater access in 2025 and beyond. And then I saw this also, and it has to do with Trinidad and Tobago to host CPL finals for the next 3 years, and that was March 2018 in the Guyana Chronicle. It said the flashback, Trinbago Knight Riders lifted their second Caribbean Premier League CPL title in 3 years when they defeated the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots by 3 wickets in the 2017 finals at the Brian Lara Academy in Toruba. The Hero Caribbean Premier League finals will be hosted by Trinidad and Tobago for the next 3 years. Hero CPL has signed a staging agreement with the government of Trinidad and Tobago that will see the final 2 matches of the tournament placed in the country between 2018 and 2020. The semifinals and final represents the combination of the biggest party in sports, and these games will make a massive impact on the Trinidad and Tobago economy. Trinidad and Tobago will now host 4 consecutive finals after the hugely successful matches played at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, which saw a sellout crowd for the last year's finals as home team Trinbago Knight Riders emerged victorious. Last year, the Hero CPL generated revenue for Trinidad and Tobago of US $23 million, and Damian O'Donoghue, CEO of the Hero CPL, said he is delighted to continue making an impact on the country's economy. Hero CPL continues to grow year by year, and we are delighted with the support that we have had from the government of Trinidad and Tobago. It is clear that hosting Hero CPL games is a huge positive for the countries involved in this multi-year deal, means we can plan our finals to be even bigger and better than before. On behalf of UCPL, I would like to express my thanks to Prime Minister Rowley, Minister of Sports Darrell Smith, and also Brian Lara for pulling this deal together. Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs of Trinidad and Tobago, Honorable Darrell Smith, stated, the government of Trinidad and Tobago is pleased to continue in our sports tourism drive with the hosting of CPL semifinals and finals for the next 3 years at the brand new Brian Lara Academy. Last year was the best finals ever, and to top it all off, TKR riders won at home and at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. We hope that TKR can do it again in Trinidad and Tobago. We have built a great relationship with CPL, and cricket fans across the world can expect a great product of high-level excitement and entertainment as they did in 2017. So when Kamala Prasad said, and I want to come to talk like they do something for cricket, they did nada. But again, track clear and the Guti, UNC Guti running all over now. So I just had it. I just had to read that for you all to know that under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley and the People's National Movement, huge efforts were made to have CPL and have it here and increase sports tourism, and also by finishing the Brian Lara Cricket Academy would have played a significant role, world class. So let me go back.
Piece of cake, captaincy.
I wouldn't say it.
Let me go to some Black history again quickly.
She invented a device that gave sight back to people who had been blind for 30 years. And she became the first Black woman doctor to get a medical patent. Meet Dr. Patricia Bath, and what she created will blow your mind. 1981, she's working as an ophthalmologist, and she sees a problem. Cataract surgery is brutal, big incisions, long recovery times, high risk. But she has an idea. What if we could use lasers? So she gets to work on something revolutionary. The Laser Phaco Probe. This device uses laser technology to dissolve cataracts through a tiny 1 millimeter incision. 1 millimeter, practically invisible. For 5 years, she perfected this invention. Testing, refining, innovating. May 17th, 1988, she gets her patent. Patricia Bath becomes the first African-American woman doctor to receive a medical patent. But here's where it gets incredible. Her invention didn't just improve surgery, it performed miracles. The Laser Phaco Probe restored sight to people who had been blind for decades. Dr. Bath's personal favorite moment? Using her device to give sight back to a woman who had been blind for over 30 years in North Africa. Imagine being in darkness for 3 decades, then suddenly seeing the world again, because one brilliant Black woman refused to accept that's just how surgery is done. She holds 5 patents total. Changed cataract surgery forever. Follow for more incredible inventors who changed the world.
We must always know history. Listen to this other one.
They made billions off sugar, but never said his name, never paid him a dime. He revolutionized the industry.
What happened there? Let me see.
They made billions off sugar, but never said his name, never paid him a dime. He revolutionized the industry with a single invention, making sugar safer, faster, and cheaper to produce. Without it, sugar would have stayed a deadly, back-breaking job, one that cost lives so others could taste sweetness. This is the Sugar King, Norbert Rilliot. Born in New Orleans in 1806, Black, free, and brilliant in a world built to erase all 3. By 24, he was teaching engineering in Paris. He didn't just study steam power, he mastered it. And then he changed everything. His invention, the multiple effect evaporator, turning boiling sugar from a lethal open kettle process into a closed system. Fewer fires, fewer lives lost, and higher yields. Sugar barons lined up to use it. Europe imported it. The whole industry shifted. But not the credit, not the money. Factory owners got rich, but his name disappeared from the papers. They patented his brilliance, reaped the rewards, and left him out of history. He should have been a household name. Instead, he spent years shut out of the very system he helped improve. One of the greatest minds of the industrial age, buried in footnotes, but his genius still powers the world. His method lives on in sugar, in oil, in food production, in safety systems used everywhere. He was the foundation, the present and the future. Say his name, Norbert Rilliot. Put him back in the textbooks. Now you know, don't forget it, and please share this.
Now you know, don't forget it. So let me just play something that former President Obama would have said when it came to free speech. Because we're reaching a place now that only some feel they could say what they want. And if you disagree with their views, then they try to bully you into accepting what they're saying or make you feel guilty because you have a different opinion. So, what is happening here? I'm trying to understand why Fearless Warrior will try to come on my platform. If that's what you're doing, I've never done that to your platform. I would call in your program. I don't have a call-in program, so I don't understand what is happening. Please do not engage me in whatever issue that you and the director of this platform has, please. So as I continue. So listen to what President Obama said about free speech. And as I was saying, there are some persons who feel that their opinion is more important than yours. And opinions, everybody have opinions because you're entitled to your opinions. And if you don't go along with what they think or what they say, then they try to make you feel guilty for your opinion or try to bully you into some type of submission. Yeah, so it tells you the insecurity that somebody would have in doing something like that. So listen to President Obama.
Listen to Barack's views on free speech.
As president of our country and commander-in-chief of our military, I accept that people are going to call me awful things every day.
Exactly.
And I will always defend their right to do so.
Yeah. It's all right.
Americans have fought and died around the globe to protect the right of all people to express their views, even views that we profoundly disagree with.
Exactly.
We do not do so because we support hateful speech, but because our founders understood that without such protections, the capacity of each individual to express their own views and practice their own faith may be threatened. We do so because in a diverse society, efforts to restrict speech can quickly become a tool to silence critics and oppress minorities.
Oh.
We do so because, given the power of faith in our lives and the passion that religious differences can inflame, the strongest weapon against hateful speech is not repression. It is more speech. The voices of tolerance that rally against bigotry and blasphemy and lift up the values of understanding and mutual respect. I know that not all countries in this body share this particular understanding of the protection of free speech. We recognize that. But in 2012, at a time when anyone with a cell phone can spread offensive views around the world with a click of a button, the notion that we can control the flow of information is obsolete.
True.
Yeah? Freedom of speech, whether you like what the person's saying or not. I listened to Stevie Wonder also. I think this was so cute.
It's been hard to stay silent with all that's going on. In my mind, I get it. I hear what's being said from all corners of our earth. I get it when you're controlled by what you're thinking. In our heads, we hear, if you fight me, I'll fight you harder. If you curse me, I'll curse you and yours even stronger. That is how our mind thinks, speaking without listening to the spirit. It is the mind that is not connected to the soul. The spirit knows that fighting harder, cursing stronger, hating longer will never end. It just gets easier to use a knife, a gun, a drone, or a bomb. All in the name of blood spilled on the ground to leave more lives buried in the ground, never reaching higher ground. To any of the leaders that feel that this is the only way, I ask you to be brave enough to say in your way is a way to World War III. Am I the only one that sees this? I stand up with peace. I stand up with love. That's who I am. That is what God made me of. I stand down on war, and I stand down on hate. We cannot let revenge be our unimaginable fate.
That's a great Stevie Wonder there. And this is a name that we've been hearing a lot of recently, one Marco Rubio. I saw this and I said, let's listen to it. It's quite interesting. It's not my saying. I guess it's part of the free speech. Listen to this.
What will stop them is when you blow them up, when you get rid of them. They were designated as what they are terrorist organizations. So the same information and the same intelligence mechanisms with maybe a higher focus was used to determine that a drug boat was headed towards eventually the United States. Instead of interdicting it on the president's orders, he blew it up. And it'll happen again. Maybe it's happening right now.
Okay, so death by missile bombing is the new punishment for drug traffickers. Wild, but okay. Does that also apply for traffickers inside of the United States? And furthermore, does that apply to your very own family, Marco? Because if bombing traffickers is justice, then by your logic, should the DEA have dropped a missile on the house that you lived in when one of the largest drug busts in Miami history happened in your house? When your brother-in-law, Orlando Cecilia, was convicted in a $75 million cocaine drug bust ring, where kilos of cocaine were cut and stored in the spare bedroom of your tiny shared home? And let's be real, we're not talking about some tiny scale drug operation like the fishing panga you guys blew up. We're talking about industrial scale trafficking. The same operation that you and your family deny knowing about. But when the man who personally arrested your brother-in-law, former DEA agent Larry Lovelace, was asked about it, is it possible they didn't notice? Is it possible? I suppose. Is it likely they didn't notice anything?
Papa laughs. Look trouble now. Anyway, let me continue on that note. I'm seeing here in The Guardian yesterday, Venezuelan VP blasts TNT minister as U.S. pawn. Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has attacked minister in the Ministry of Housing, Philip Alexander, calling him a pawn of the United States after controversial statements he made about Venezuela. The only nuclear bomb was the one dropped onto the brain of this official from this newly sworn-in government. Trinidad and Tobago should think of its people before they try to attack Venezuela and renounce their servitude to the U.S. government that intends to steal our immense energy resources. They could not and will not, with our determination to freedom and self-determination, widely exercised in our democracy of peace, Venezuela is hope, she said. Via her Instagram account, she responded to Alexander's recent statement when he suggested that India could attack Venezuela with nuclear bombs in defense of Trinidad and Tobago because of its population of East Indian descent. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in TNT in July on a state visit. When questioned by Guardian media, Alexander backtracked on his statement, saying he will stay in his lane and leave the matter in the hands of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, John Sobers. It must be noted that India and Venezuela are close commercial partners, as India buys Venezuelan oil and India exports food and medicine, among other products, to Venezuela. Rodriguez herself has visited India several times. She described TNT's threat as an act of subservience to the United States government. In her opinion, the United States is seeking to steal Venezuela's energy resources. Rodriguez urged Trinidad and Tobago to think about its own people before aligning itself with what she described as Washington's imperial interests. She reaffirmed Venezuela's determination to defend its sovereignty and self-determination. Let me read this here part again. It must be noted that India and Venezuela are close commercial partners, as India buys Venezuelan oil and India exports food and medicine, amongst other products, to Venezuela. Rodriguez herself has visited India several times. Listen to this one here now. This was the Daily Express, September the 21st. Venezuela announces military buildup near Trinidad. Venezuelan Minister of Defense Vladimir Padrino Lopez announced earlier today that the Venezuelan military will be moving closer to Trinidad and Tobago to combat what he claims are criminal acts occurring within territory close to the Gulf of Paria, the stretch of waters that separate the two. Speaking about the Venezuelan military movement during a televised address to citizens on Sunday, Padrino, who previously warned the country of a potential Venezuelan response, named Trinidad and Tobago as a country from which a lot of smuggling and human trafficking occurs. He said that under the instruction of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, the military would be moving to the Sucre state, which includes the Paria Peninsula. The closest point between the Sucre state and Trinidad northern coast is approximately 8 miles. 60 units will occupy the territory of the 15 municipalities of that state to scrutinize and to conduct reconnaissance and clear the area. It should be remembered that from Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of fuel smuggling occurs, as well as smuggling of weapons and ammunition, and a lot of human trafficking. All of that happens along the axis between Mapuro, the tip of the Paria Peninsula, and Trinidad and Tobago. So we are going there to clear out any terrorist groups or any drug trafficking organizations that are operating illegally in that territory, said Padrino. All the UNC supporters who find that this is a joke and America will save we and that and that Nancy story thing. Okay. Or they continue laughing at Kamala is queen and she's the mother. I'm continuing. Tobago here, I think they put the Secretary of Education in the Secretary of Tourism or the Department of Tourism. So like she had two ministries, for want of a better word, to run. But the person who is or was, I don't know, the Tourism Secretary, Tasha Boris, the one who tell me, oh, we unclean and all them things, that little fresh little one who, before Juke make she somebody, nobody didn't know she. It is alleged, they say. Anyway, let me leave that there, Papa. So I don't know why they think this needed to make news. Tourism Secretary takes time away to celebrate birthday. Well, go celebrate a birthday. You must be going to wash because you must be unclean. I don't know. Tobago House of Assembly, THS Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Boris, has apparently taken some time away from work to celebrate her birthday. In a post on her Facebook page on September the 20th, Boris said, taking time off from oneself should not come at the price of personal peace. Sometimes we need to disconnect from the noise to hear the voice of God in all seasons. You're going to look for God now? She thanked those who sent birthday greetings. I receive your blessings and return them tenfold. Thank you to those who reach out to just to check in. Your thoughts are appreciated. Boris said she has not faced a battle that she has not won yet. And I wish all the best. I'm reading all this. Because of history, I believe it rightly. Everybody deserves the grace of God, mere God. So I hope she finds what she's looking for. So I'm seeing and all this madness going on, an IR expert in The Guardian yesterday saying Prime Minister on wrong side of history over support for US action. So international relations expert Professor Andy Knight is warning that Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar may be on the wrong side of history amidst pushback from the US Congress against military strikes on boats leaving Venezuela in the Southern Sea. It was reported that United States Senator Tim Kaine and Adam Schiff on Friday introduced a War Powers Act resolution to block the use of US armed forces to engage in hostilities against certain non-state organizations following multiple unauthorized military strikes on unverified alleged drug trafficking operations in the Southern Caribbean Sea. The Prime Minister has stated she fully supported US President Donald Trump's stance against drug trafficking after it was reported that a drone strike killed 11 people aboard a boat on September the 2nd. There was a subsequent lethal strike on September the 15th and 19th. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is, I think, on the wrong side of history right now, said Professor Knight, who is the professor of international relations at the University of Alberta and former director of the Institute of International Relations at the University of the West Indies in St. Augustine. He said he is not even consulting with his Congress over acts of war. And that's a very important constitutional challenge for him. I think that supporting Trump poses significant risk to the Caribbean as a region. First of all, it's an undemocratic way of dealing with the situation with Venezuela. It turns former friends into enemies. Professor Knight noted that most CARICOM leaders did not take such position, as the region would not benefit from being turned into a war zone. He said none of the Caribbean countries seem to be willing to support Trinidad on this issue. It turned the Caribbean into a zone of war, as opposed to a zone of peace. And I think this is something that we need to be very careful about, because producing regional instability in the Caribbean region is going to be a negative for the region. And for what? Just to curry favor with a person who is known not to be loyal to you. As for the action by the US Senate, the professor stressed that the US president's action has not received approval from Congress. What he's doing has not been approved by Congress, and any act of war has to be approved by Congress. Otherwise, it has to be considered as undeclared war. So when the Venezuelan government calls for a UN intervention, I think that's the appropriate thing to do, given that this is an undeclared war. There have been extrajudicial killings of at least 14 individuals on those boats, said Professor Knight, who questioned if it was a valid traffic or a valid tactic to address the issue of drug trafficking. Drug trafficking is not a war against the United States. If there is drug trafficking and we want to deal with it, there is an appropriate way to deal with this. Have a standard interdiction operation, arrest the individuals, get the drugs, and have allegedly been trafficked, and have the persons arrested and tried in the court. Have them defend themselves in court, he said. He argued, or he urged CARICOM to take a more decisive stand on the issue as well. We need to sort of call it out for what it is, and it is about time that CARICOM and the Organization of American States work closely with the United Nations and perhaps have some sort of investigation into what the United States is doing, he said. I think this is about time that we put an end to what I consider to be a reckless, non-transparent operation with no proof that these individuals are drug traffickers. They might be regular fishermen. I think it's up to the United States to prove that they are drug traffickers, and they haven't been able to do that as yet. President Trump told reporters during a press conference at the Oval Office that he has strong evidence that the latest boat was carrying drugs. Look, all here. All here. This was all here. I got my new glasses. So I decided today I'm going to put it on and read. I don't think it's the best thing. I should have eased myself or weaned myself into it. Now I wish I had my old glasses close at hand. So could you hand me my old glasses? I think I was look at right there in the look at on top there in the case. Let me deal with this. This glasses stressing me out right now. So let me that's why they said don't ever throw the hole in. Don't ever throw the hole. Okay. So this is by Martin Daly, September the 20th, 2025. Ambiguity, sovereignty, and policy. Last week, in light of the currently active United States naval presence in Caribbean waters, I posted a question about sovereignty to which I returned below. However, I must begin this week noting that the National Gas Company, NGC, a premier state enterprise, has pelted both the Minister of Education, Dr. Michael Dowlak, MP, and the Minister of Culture and Community Development, Mrs. Michelle Benjamin, MP, into proverbial bamboo. While speechifying at the photo-op closing of the PAN camp of the President of the Republic on July 18, 2025, the Minister of Education claimed to draw inspiration from the work of the late economist and historian Lloyd Best, promoting panniers as a foundation for economic development and community engagement. This minister reminded us of Best's views of the potential of the pannier to foster civic harmony and community collaboration while also engaging what he calls sleeping resources and native intuition. Nevertheless, mere weeks later, NGC has withdrawn sponsorship from Cuba Joylanders, Labrador Nightingales, and Steel Explosion of Tobago. All had working steel orchestras, and in the case of Joylanders, a medium band panorama champion. None of these bands are located in the now stigmatized North, but they get a yellow joke anyway. Subsequently, another high-sounding bundle of words in the form of a press release from Minister Benjamin's office highlighting the ambiguity and policy of the government regarding the national musical instrument. The press release represents that active conversation between Pan Trinbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore and representatives of the NGC to explore a feasible way forward and have been prioritized by Minister Benjamin. What is the update on that alleged priority, and why isn't Minister Benjamin chairing those conversations? Returning now to the United States naval presence in the Caribbean waters, the usual arguments about protecting our sovereignty require, in my opinion, an essential modification which acknowledges that Trinidad and Tobago has surrendered to powerful criminal elements control our territory internally as well as externally through carelessly porous borders. In those circumstances, over what do we realistically have sovereignty? I was heartened by the recent statement of President General of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, Ansel Roger. He balanced well the OWTU long-standing insistence on the Caribbean remaining a zone of peace and free of military conflict with insistence that the Caribbean must also be free from the warring consequences of the unlimited flow of drugs, arms, and ammunition, which he stated has been a direct threat to our citizens living with a sense of safety and security. Mr. Roger continued, the Caribbean must never become a zone of gangs, cartels, organized crime, and the freedom of movement, sophisticated arms and ammunition, which has resulted in thousands of murders in our country. I have presently warned against the consequences of going in the wrong direction, in which our rulers allow our small nation to be pulled, aided by the indifference of a so-called civil society that those amassing questionable profits nonchalantly. I summarized that situation in my Violent Crime Introspective, published on Republic Day 2023, in which I quoted one of the things that I had written 29 years earlier. If any government does not act independently of the criminal element in the society, whether they are grassroots bandits or the devils in disguise, the regulation of society in the interest of the common good will eventually become impossible. The law of the land will have legal validity, but will cease to be effective. 3 weeks before the column was published in 2003, an editorial in the newspaper said of the drug trade. This trade has been going on for so long, about 50 years, that it is now so deeply embedded in the very fabric of the society that the question of securing the country's forms a nefarious impact is not even on the agenda. I ask those now touting the purported success of the current government in fighting crime. Has the situation of embedded crime changed? Perhaps an even more urgent question is this. Will we not be in the same situation when the state of emergency comes to an end and no change have been made? This is Mr. Martin Deliesi. He was correct in what Ansel Roger would have said about this being a zone of peace and all that. But you know what happens with people like Ansel Roger, and they lose credibility. And because they have no credibility based on their past behavior, even if what they're saying is the correct thing, you tend not to want to listen to them. And that is what they don't understand. When you behave in such a terrible way, and nasty way, deceitful way, unjust way, and then you want to come and send as the virtue of the conversation and have a conversation, you just wonder why nobody wants to listen. And it's because of that. Not that what you're saying is not the right thing, you know. But who the hell wants to hear you, Roger? Who wants to hear you? And Mr. Daly is right, SC. When the state of emergency is finished, what next? Are we going to be living a continuous state of emergency so that this becomes a police state or something? Because what's it happening? What really is happening? But that's what people vote for. So I'm saying this, all remember the EMBD matter. It's before Justice Francis Prasad, and we have heard the conversation before that he may be one of them, it is alleged, looking for to be the next Chief Justice, I don't know. I think he's also some pastor or something, and he has been accused of being appointed my way, going in on the pulpit, however they call it, and talking about things that a judge ought not to be talking about in that way and in that setting. He feels as a real pat down. Like I just seen it looks that way. I'm into theater, so he looks like he does real pat down and had our face look, watch me now. They go, you know, I now see they're bringing out makeup for men, you know, so there's a possibility, I don't know. If that's what he using, the face does look good way. Not a pimple, not out of place. I don't know. I have to find out what is all his face regime. How all the face looking so. Anywho, so this was September the 17th, Daily Express. Judge to EMBD, court process is not to be manipulated, application denied. The Estate Management and Business Development Company has been denied a 3-month extension to file replies in a series of lawsuits involving alleged breaches of contract and manipulation for personal gain. In a decision delivered on Wednesday, Justice Francis Prasad ruled that the company application to vary a previous set case management conference CMC order was not justified. The judge emphasized that after 8 years of litigation, there will be no tolerance approach to delay. He stated that the court process will not be manipulated to avoid an efficient and timely resolution to the matter. Justice Prasad noted that the lawsuits known as the cartel claim, which raise important issues of accountability, transparency, and the protection of the public purse, have made very little progress since they were first filed in 2017. At the CMC, on June the 17th, the court had already given EMBD approximately 2.5 months to file its reply, which Justice Tipasat considered a fairly generous timeline. He also acknowledged that recent change in EMBD's political directorate and the appointment of a new board, but noted that the law governing the filing of replies is settled and straightforward. A review of the pleadings demonstrates that these matters raise novel and critical issues, but they are not overly complicated. Here, why I'm going to read more in this, right? This matter, since it had went before, I think is Justice Aboud, if I'm not mistaken, that is really termed cartel-like. I put it my behavior in the way contracts were different. There were messages between a particular minister and a contractor about money and all that. It have all that there. This went to the Privy Council, where the Privy Council also agreed that this something is to be heard there, because EMBD accused a certain individual and contractors of the way contracts were given and that kind of thing, right? So there's a case to be heard there. I remember when Justice Frank Sipasat had given Dr. Rudal Munilal a certain time to file his defense. He didn't file at that time and he gave more time to file it, and then we never hear nothing. No, this is a civic matter, you know. And there's a new board in EMBD. I am just asking, is this setting up a whole scenario to drop this whole case? You quite don't understand what's the problem now. All the things are there, so because a new board come in, what the new board need more time to do? Everything has been put there already by the board that was before. Where's all this delaying and delaying? Again, I ask it, is it to drop this whole matter? Because all you see how Vicky Buram, who, but we just say fraud against people and things, outsmart real people, their money, all kind of thing. She get off. All you see how the thing playing. I just asking me, you know, so let me see how that go, Papa. Let me see how that go, and then Mr. all the bacchanal now. September the 22nd, Daily Express. Lawyer. Probe Alexander over alleged meeting with gang leaders. Jesus, Lord have mercy. The lawyer for the Ting prison supervisor, Gat Guada, has written to Police Commissioner Lester Guevara demanding a full and immediate investigation into Alexander over Guadia's claim that the minister held unauthorized meetings with alleged gang leaders who are behind bars ahead of the 2025 general election. Following a pre-action protocol letter to Alexander last Friday, in which Guada alleged a vendetta behind his detention and threatening legal action against the minister, attorney Crystal Primus also on Friday issued a letter to the Commissioner of Police stating that Alexander's conduct raises serious concerns about the integrity of the Minister of Homeland Security. Through the Freedom of Information Act, Primus also requested records of all authorized visits by Alexander to the maximum security prison during the period under question and while he was on vacation. The letter to Guevara was headed Request for Investigation into Alleged Unauthorized and Personal Visit by Roger Alexander, Minister of Homeland Security, to detain high-risk inmates. The communication on behalf of Guevara formally requested a full and immediate investigation into unauthorized personal meetings by Alexander, the current Minister of Homeland Security, while alleged gang leaders who are currently incarcerated in the period before the 2025 general election. Primus also alleged in a letter that Alexander, prior to his appointment, engaged in a series of meetings with several gang leaders at the maximum security prison, specifically with individuals who are currently detained on serious criminal charges. The letter to the commission also stated, it is further alleged that these meetings were held outside of official channels and without the requisite legal authorization from then acting Commissioner of Police and the then Commissioner of Prisons, Mr. Carlos Carraspi. Guarda attorney went on to state that her client asserts such conduct raises concerns, serious concerns about the integrity of the Ministry of Homeland Security and places the minister in the position of associate of gang leaders. Guarda is further asserting that such meeting discussed pre-election support and contracts to be awarded in the event of success at the polls. In the interest of public transparency and accountability and pursuant of the police service duty to investigate potential criminal activities and breaches of law, I hereby demand that you conduct a thorough investigation in this matter, Prima stated. Paper trail request. The police commissioner was also notified in Prima's letter of a formal request through Chapter 22(2) excuse me, of the Freedom of Information Act that you provide me with a copy of all records, correspondence, logbooks, and any other documentation that allegedly authorized these visits. Prima's letter included a copy in part of the, I will call the acronym after that. So it's Freedom of Information Act, and it is FOIA. Request seeking records for Alexander's visit to the prison from January 2025 to May 2025, Primer stated. I specifically request the paper trail that permitted Mr. Roger Alexander to meet with these high-risk individuals in the period before the 2025 general election. Provide all the details of the crime that was being investigated while Mr. Alexander was on vacation leave, and the email to the Commissioner of Prisons which requested such a visit. Primus went on to state an acknowledgement of the letter to Govero was expected, as well as confirmation that an investigation has been launched. I trust that you will treat this matter with the seriousness and urgency it deserves, Primus said. Not Jennifer Primus, the lawyer for the prison officer who has been detained. Right. Why Guardia was detained? Guardia is being detained by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, TTPS, based on a detention order issued by Alexander for allegedly assisting a gang under the ongoing state of emergency SOE. The detention order signed on August 18 and gazetted last Tuesday named Guardia as an alleged associate of the radical Islamic criminal gang led by alleged gang leader and murder-accused Raji Ali. The order against Guarda, a resident of Malabar Arima, stated that he has been confirmed to be providing support to other gang leaders and members who are incarcerated in furtherance of their participation in, involving in, or commissioning of violent gang-related activities, including the imminently planned killing of public officials in public spaces using high-power rifles. Jesus Lord. The order claimed that as a prison supervisor, Guarda repeatedly facilitated the breach of prison security measures for the benefit of the gang members who have been trying to engage in further breaches at the current place of incarceration. Breaches of their current place of incarceration at the Tetron barracks. The detention order further stated that the situation made Guarda a serious threat to public safety and deemed his detention at currently Tetron barracks as necessary. The order said Guarda has shown that he has the means and resources to assist incarcerated persons to engage in gang activity despite their present incarceration and is a threat to the safety of the public. Jesus wept. That's what I will say, yes? Jesus wept. Oh. Woo! Lord have mercy. Oh. Let me continue. Chelsea Communication Workers Union is raising issues. 23 hours ago in the Guardian, well, not 23 again, CW raises alarm over executive shakeup at TSTT. The Communication Workers Union has expressed concern that the state-owned TSTT may be destabilized and amidst rumors of senior-level changes within the organization. On Friday, a social media blog post went viral claiming that TSTT General Counsel and Corporate Secretary Gail Alex Solomon, Assistant VP of Executive Sales Daryl Duke, and Brent Alton, Senior Manager of Security and Operational Risk, has been placed on administrative leave. The post also suggests that additional changes were expected across the company executive team. This development comes 2 months after Kent Weston resigned as CEO, with Keno Cox appointed as acting CEO in July. When asked about the matter, Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarot said he was aware of the action taken against 2 employees and assured that the company operation continued to function smoothly. He added, "I am advised that the situation stems from allegations of internal procurement breaches, which are under investigation by management, a situation inherited from the former administration." The CWU, when contacted, issued a statement expressing concern over the sequence of events. The union is concerned about the position and office holders of those sent on administrative leave. 2 of those positions are the top echelon of the organization. From an external perspective, the numbers seem to be increasing, creating a perception of instability at TSTT amongst other managerial staff and unionized workers, the statement said. CW could not confirm rumors of the new appointments, but said it had received information that changes were forthcoming. While some rumors hold truth, I have been reliably informed that a gentleman will be joining the organization in the capacity of Human Resources IR, along with other persons soon to assume roles in finance. The union will make a further pronouncement as we observe the shift, the statement said. It concluded, the action of the board of directors of CEO mirror the popular PNM election tune sweeping time. The question remains, what have these persons done? We trust that proper industrial relations. That's all. It concluded, the action of the board of directors and CEO mirrors the popular PNM election tune sweeping time. Yeah, good. The question remains the question remains, what have these persons done? We trust that proper industrial relation procedures will be allowed or will be followed, and that TSTT can return to providing a frictionless experience for both internal and external customers, free from political influences. I want to tell CWTU, in my opinion, it seemed that they just firing people of African descent. Once you're bright and you hold a position in this country, and you hold it under the former or the past administration People's National Movement, you're getting fired. All I seen getting fired, the majority people of African descent. Who they're going to replace it? Me don't know. But I'm racing. Is it the one to create a brain drain? Because when them people get fired, they want to stay in Trinidad and them could go and apply for work outside. So is it a brain drain? And to bring in mediocre people to do the work because they look like you or they support you? Is that where this place going this wrong? But we did tell earlier, Dominic Romaine used to preach it. We calling on radio. Who was radio host on radio used to say it? I saying it. We said, we tell all it. Don't put God out all the thoughts and vote for the UNC. Because the UNC has no history of management in this country, especially under Kamala services. The caliber of ministers that we used to have under Mr. Pandey, those days are over. And though she started off with, she got rid of all of it. All this, what you're seeing now in the UNC, I mean, this is a pickup side no more. It is just mediocrity. It's just ridiculous to run this country where oil prices, gas prices low, you run out of resources. All this still went, take chain up, whether from people or from all the emotions or whatever, who decide not to vote and who decide to go to the next side. This what we in, or let's see what we in here now. And I used to always say, go and go to you and see when anything whatever it is, don't meet me and tell me nothing, don't ask me nothing, don't tell me to talk and nothing. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's your country. You're a patriot and you see what happening to people, whether it's African people or Indian people's people, because they're my children. And despite what they want to say, although some of the Indian community don't say a word, they're suffering in silence and they just cuss camera. But them cult here, in my opinion, women must be very solitude and take, and we don't have that culture. We answering back to soup. Yeah? Let me continue. So, Tanku pilots bill to strengthen BIR. Me even reading this. You know why? The TTRA, Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, that was to do all them things. All they get rid of it. Everything the government, former government put in place to treat with taxes, collection of taxes and all that, all they throw the window. So they are coming to tell people what all they bringing bill to do what. But Tanku, stop playing up in you even reading this now, all your goodings. Stop playing up in all you on games. It's just at the 10% games. And you always have a ready Negro. Always have a ready Negro to facilitate them in the foolishness. Felicia Thomas. Games. It is alleged them on board and Wasano. It is alleged she man or she father-in-law, whoever them on board and Wasano. And she get put in position 50-something, range 50-something, however. She was a temporary worker, contract worker in Wasano. It is alleged now. She get permanent in range 50-something. Big money, Them don't care, They don't care about the ordinary public officers, They care about Wasta. Nothing wrong with that because they come from Wasta. But them don't care about it because PSS is not just for Wasta workers. Them don't care, and all was costing me and thinking and what they get. Anything I say was a lie. Did I say anything that Ollie could come back and say is a lie? I said she's a blasted done. And I used to say, but this is a consummate jackass. I used to say them things. Anything change? I tell all you, it is alleged he's going to be a senator under the UNC and they will make him Minister of Labor. I tell all of them things it was alleged what they come true. So anyhow, as I say, Tanku, we want to hear you. We want to hear the budget for October the 6th. That's what we want to hear. You don't start to talk, some will be happy, some will be sad. Budget does always have people who are happy and who sad. So why I need to mention that? Is it that this now? Oh, they go to your Felicia. The public officers who you tell vote for UNC, they go get a 10%, they want their money. You tell them to go get this budget. Don't come out to talk about the next thing. You never tell them financial fiscal year 2026. You tell them this year. You tell them this year. They want their money when the budget is being read October the 6th. They want their money. Only it have this and a beautiful African woman, and she does look, she glasses, the hair, thing, And I say, I don't really listen much, but everything is always something she bad talking, the PNM and thing, and Kamala is the mother, and Kamala, and this is a caring government, the UNC is a caring government, and the PNM didn't care, and thing. I never really paid much mind until only I see this, and I said, oh, what the hell I see in here? What the hell is this? Somebody put up a potential talking, and then somebody said, hey, all you know who is she? But we don't know who is she because telling me, And then they put up this story. I said, what the hell is this? All you listen to this, Papa. Oh, God, listen to this.
Judge gives HDC clearance to evict woman illegally occupying home for 10 years. The Housing Development Corporation, HDC, has been granted permission to evict a woman from a house in Chiguanas she has been unlawfully occupying for over a decade. Delivering a judgment on Friday, High Court Judge Ricky Rahim upheld HC's case against Esther Cruikshank over control of the property in Edinburgh 500. According to the evidence in the case, the lawsuit dealt with a property that the HDC leased to a family for 30 years in 1990 to construct a home. After the family left the lot vacant, the HDC constructed a home on it for the family in 2012. The HDC only learned that the house was being occupied by Cruikshank and not the family 5 years later when it sought to renew the family's lease for 199 years in 2017. Although the HDC informed Cruikshank that she was occupying the property illegally, she denied any wrongdoing. Cruikshank claimed that in early 2012 she met with former Housing Minister Dr. Rudal Munalul and requested his assistance in finding housing as she had just left an abusive relationship. She claimed that she worked on a project with a community activist on abandoned and vandalized houses in the community and pointed out the house to Munalul. She claimed that Munalul gave her oral permission to occupy the house, and she spent over $100,000 to make it habitable. She claimed that Munalul introduced her to the HDC's then manager of allocation and distribution, Lauren, and Legal to assist. While she admitted that Legal told her about the property being leased to the family, she claimed that Legal assured her that the property could still be assigned to her. In his judgment, Justice Rahim noted that while Cruikshank made a housing application to the HDC in 2003, it remained dormant until 2014 when she was interviewed. He ruled that she did not go past that stage, and her application essentially remained dormant. While Justice Rahim ruled that the housing minister did have the power to instruct the HDC to assign housing in special and emergency cases, he noted that Munalul did not make any official decision in relation to Cruikshank based on its records. However, he took issue with the fact that she did not seek to have Munalul or Legal to testify in her defense. The defendant's evidence on this issue is in the view of the court poor at best, Justice Rahim said. While he noted that Cruikshank's alleged conversations with Munalul expressing interest in the property were plausible, he questioned her claim that he orally assigned it to her. The court does not, however, accept that it is more likely than not that a minister would make the call to have a unit allocated to a person without ascertaining the facts of ownership of the unit or the land upon which it stood. He said, "In all, the evidence amounts to nothing more than utterances by the defendant, which themselves appear contradictory to some extent, that the minister either recommended or allocated the unit to her," he added. While Justice Rahim ruled that the HDC was entitled to evict her, he dismissed its claim for compensation for trespass. The court is of the view that none ought to be awarded in light of the work done to the unit by the defendant, which work benefits the claimant, he said. As part of his decision, Justice Rahim issued an injunction barring Cruikshank from the property. She was also ordered to pay the HDC $28,000 in legal costs. Justice Rahim applied a 30-day stay of execution on his judgment. The HDC was represented by Kerwin Garcia, SC, while Asha Watkins-Monserin represented Cruikshank. News report by Derek Achong, senior reporter, Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, May 28, 2023.
So all what the hell I hear and it is the I was a Mululu. It's Dr. Munilala. I think you got the Mululu. Say me Mululu. So wait now. All of them just have some kind of issue with the pain because they do something wrong and they feel the pain and do them. But if I go in after the judgment with Justice Ryan, who find that the eviction, I put it my way, wasn't wrong. You go in there, you get evicted, you say Murulu, and then tell you can think they were far, but then they didn't come in your in the case to show up to say, well, yes, they say whatever it is, you alone say that whatever, they find you guilty. So that is why this lady is behaving like that. Oh my God, what the hey, people, Lord Father. Anyhow, it continues, yes? So I was looking at common sense and I said, common sense ain't so common. And the more I read everything today, whatever it is, I tell myself common sense really ain't so common. So some people like they really have no common sense at all. They even have 2 cents. Not even nonsense. Just no sense. So I said, well, look and see what common sense, not so common. What I mean and really mean and thing, right? So I said the saying common sense is not so common implies that practical wisdom and sound judgment are rarer than people assume. Popularized by French philosopher Voltaire. This concept holds true because when one person considers common sense can vary significantly due to individual experiences perceptions, and knowledge, leading to a different interpretation and application of practical wisdom. Research has even attempted to quantify how often people agree on commonsensical claims, finding that agreements can be quite low, demonstrating the personal and contextual nature of common sense. Why common sense isn't truly common? Individual experiences and knowledge. People's background, education, and life experiences shape their understanding of what is practical, obvious, leading to different perspectives. Perception and interpretation. How individuals perceive and interpret situations can differ, influencing their practical decision and actions. Emotion versus reason. People sometimes prioritize emotions or personal feelings over logical, rational thought, hindering the use of common sense. Context matters. What might be common sense in one situation could be inappropriate or dangerous in another, such as putting water on an electrical fire. Knowing versus doing. People might know what is right or sensible but fail to act on it, suggesting that implementing common sense is harder than processing. And the role of Voltaire's quote, the philosopher, the French philosopher, says, the saying attributed to Voltaire in the 18th century highlights the paradox of common sense by definition. It should be shared by most people, but in reality it is not. Voltaire quotes serve as a critique, noting that practical wisdom and good judgment are often lacking, even though they seem universally obvious. Modern implications. The idea remains relevant today as people continue to struggle with decision making despite possessing knowledge or possessing knowledge. The concept suggests that common sense is not a fixed set of rules, but a dynamic application of practical knowledge that depends on individual context and experience. So that's let me say, what is common sense? And according to Merriam-Webster, the definition of common sense is sound and prudent judgment based on a simple perception of the situation or facts. And what do we call persons who lack common sense? A simpleton, idiot, a person without much common sense or intelligence. And this is some of the many words such as moron, dummy, dimwit, and these tells the person's intelligence, right? What's the opposite of having common sense? The opposite of good sense and sound judgment in practical matters is imprudence, indiscretion, folly, foolishness, right? So I went to just some people would call dunce and consummate jackass or something, right? But other than that, I really don't like to use negative words on people unless it is warranted. Yeah? Okay. Why I'm reading this is this simple reason. I want all to listen to me. I hope people can really love and listen to me because this is very, very serious. There's a situation where with the People's National Movement, there are two opinions in terms of leadership, two opinions on who feel that who can lead the PNM into battle, whether in parliament or into general election. And everybody's free to choose or like whomever they like, right? So there are persons, and I don't know, it must be thousands and thousands, I don't know. I didn't do any survey, so I can't tell. But it's obvious there will be persons who are quite comfortable or just making it do or going along to get along kind of thing. They want Mrs. Penelope Beckles Robertson because she is the current political leader, and yes, she went up unchallenged. But I want to ask those who say why anybody else didn't take part in the internal election. If you have the deputy election officer, Dr. Seals, resigning from the election committee, that sends red flags. And then you had complaints by persons who were taking part as independent candidates in the internal elections. They had concerns that they wrote about. Nothing came out of that. So that election, anybody with common sense can come to the conclusion something wasn't right with the internal election. And me personally, I will not go into a situation, or I will take part in a process that I feel is tainted, because to me that means I would be given legitimacy to that process. Because I can't say the process is tainted, and then I go and take part in the process. Then what you're taking part in it for, right? I don't want to read and spell for you what we're talking about. So the conversation is, well, nobody else didn't challenge it and all that. Why would you in those circumstances? Anywho, so we have a political leader, because she was unchallenged. She is a political leader, and we know the situation with the opposition leader, how that happened. And again, that raised red flags for a lot of people. So as I was saying, so I saying me, I'm putting it as me now. I have always said that I don't support the political leader, not because she's not a nice lady, not because she wasn't in the PNM long, or not because she hasn't been in several ministries. I just feel she does not have, based on all the research I would have done, she does not have what it takes, especially with a People's National Movement in opposition, to take the PNM to victory. Even those who support on a high level the deputy political leader, ask the deputy political leader, ask him what he thinks about her. If he ever spoke anything good about her, just ask him. I didn't say he did or he didn't. I said just ask him. So all the research I would have done, I haven't seen anything that convinced me. Yeah, because we need somebody who could stand up strong and that kind of thing. So based on that, I have said I don't support, and I use the word weak. I think I may have been the first person who keep coming here and talking about the opposition leader is weak, the political leader is weak. I own that. I used to say that, and I still say that. So because of that, I have gotten a lot of backlash from those who support the political leader, which is their right. My issue is not the cussing or the insult. That's small thing. My issue is they have brought no evidence to the front to show. Because if I am saying that she's a weak leader and all they say she's not, the burden of proof is on all and not me. So bring the proof to show where I am wrong in what I'm saying. Just cussing alone and insulting and who will protect the leader and who attack. That sounds good if you're playing to the audience, but bring evidence to show that what I saying is the wrong thing. Just the same I used to talk about PSA and what is happening now. Everything I've been saying come true now. Who was cussing me and me hear nobody cussing again? Because I had my receipts to show I know what I'm talking about. And those who were saying that cussing or whatever it is, they didn't bring anything to show that what I was saying was the wrong thing. So in this situation, I liken it to that. Bring the evidence to show that what Jennifer Frederick is saying about the political leader, that I am wrong. And I will just lay off that conversation. But there's no evidence that you could bring. Another thing, the continuous talk about a black, bring back the party, a black, and all that. How does that work? The deputy political leader, only in check, he is not African. In fact, he's Caucasian. So all they talking about, you see that cognitive dissonance. So the PNM is a black party, only pushing for a black party, but one of the deputy political leaders, Indian descent, one is Caucasian because he's Irish mixed and whatever, right? And that's what we've been saying, that the PNM is not an African party. The PNM is a party for all, like Dr. Eric Williams has said that. And today we see that in the People's National Movement because that is what it is. We have core member, the political leader, he's not black, and we have Mr. Sanji Buru, also the political leader, he a black neither, right? So that pushed this whole talk about black party, black party. So, as I was saying again, my conversation about the political leader not having what it takes, in my opinion, remains. And those who are saying that I am attacking her, they are deliberately saying that to create an impression Because me saying she weak is not an attack. Me saying she weak is stating a fact. A fact is not an attack. And it is alleged that they have the blessings of an individual in the central executive to do what they are doing. So when they say that I'm getting paid, or Rick is getting paid, or who's getting paid to say what we're saying, me don't even have to swear in a Bible. My word is my bond. Nobody has paid me, nobody will pay me, and me ain't taking no payment from nobody to do nothing. Nobody ain't telling me what to say, how to say. I'm a free agent. So who want to believe otherwise, they're free to do that because they're judging by their standards. Probably they're the ones getting paid because it would not be the first time based on information, right? So I no business for that. If they're getting paid to do that and they want to show who paying them that they could go the distance and cost this one and that one and what, that is their right, that is their choice. I'm not business for that. All I'm saying, bring the evidence to show that what I'm saying, I am wrong. And we can't sit down in the PNM or in the General Council. Or you can just simply sit down and say, this is what we have, and we just go along with it and we want no back and no confusion. That is not how you get things solved. Because not necessarily General Council, but the talk was Dr. Rowley's a tyrant, a dictator. You can't talk, you can't this, and whatever. And what has happened now? In fact, only getting on worse than Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Because now, when anybody talk about the political leader, it have people cussing them and saying all kind of things. When all they used to all kind of thing with Dr. Rowley, nobody was coming to cuss all no social media or nothing about it. Everybody was free to cuss Dr. Rowley, say what they want and whatever the case is. All of a sudden, nobody can say nothing about the political leader. And that again tells me, you know why? Because she's weak and all, you know that. So all in a defensive mode, so nobody can say nothing. But Dr. Rowley, on the other hand, has always been a strong leader. So saying that he did and that didn't really was like water on a dog's back. So it is what it is. He did what he needed to do to keep the party, and we see he was the dam that kept everything together because he left everything fall apart, and it has fallen apart. Don't fool on yourself. A quick note too to show you on that what about common sense. So Friday, the PNM had its September affair. And it was well attended. Last year it was well attended too. In fact, I was privileged to go because I got a free ticket. Before he was member of parliament, Dominic Romaine had 2 tickets last year, and he called me. He said, Jen, you want to go Ting? I said, he said, I have a ticket. I said, oh, he said, oh, and I went. I enjoyed myself. In fact, the bottle of champagne I have since last year is still in the fridge because I don't drink. We don't really drink it just in the fridge and we watch it and study. But how the hell you can have a bottle of thing in a fridge for the whole year, and whatever the case is. I went and I got I'm not an eater, I'm not a drinker. But it was nice to be around people. So the eating thing don't bother me. Food thing don't bother me. I go. I don't eat before I go out. So when I go, I don't have to eat no way. That's how I does operate. If I take something, a little salad, if they have pink salmon, that's my thing. But the point I'm making is it was well attended. So they say it was also well attended. So I make a comment, free food, free drinks, free ticket. Fed does ram out. And I'm happy everybody had a good time. Oh God, they had a problem with that till somebody said, well, the woman in line, I went, I get a free ticket. Because that's what happens. Companies buy tickets, or whoever, manufacturers, whatever, and they give it out. And people come. Why would you not go to the Hyatt? Whether you like Penelope because they don't like she, or you like this one. $1,500 for Hyatt, you get a free ticket, you're going. Anybody tell me they ain't going, they lie. You're going that. Just for the experience, to say they went Hyatt, to take picture, to eat, to drink, whatever it is. You're going, right? So they're watching at that crowd in the Hyatt to say that, oh, the political leader have real support, boy. That's why I talk about common sense. So let me continue. So as I started to say, I did research and stuff. I want to see what I could speak about that the political leader would have done. Because I told them, send me stuff that she would have done so I could talk about it on my show here. And big share and thing. All the rest tell me, she nice, she did for years, and she deserves to be there. I don't understand how that could translate into being a good leader. And she does listen She walked down Charlotte Street. She just hug up everybody, even the vagrant and all. And she just talk to everybody. And that, I still don't understand how that makes you a good leader, right? But that is their criteria for being a good leader. So I said, Jennifer, you're going on. Go and pull up Mrs. Penelope Becker's profile, parliamentary profile. It says here, Mr. Penelope Beckers Robinson was re-elected to the House of Representatives as a member of the 13th Republican Parliament on April 20, 2025. She was appointed leader of the opposition May 6, 2025. Mrs. Beckers Robinson first entered Parliament in 1995 as an opposition senator. She then served as a representative for the constituency of Arima between 2000 and 2010. Mrs. Beckers Robinson held various portfolios, having been Minister of Social Development, Ministry of Culture and Tourism, as well as Minister of Public Utilities and the Environment. She served as the leader of the opposition business in the Senate in the 10th Parliament between 2010 and December 2013, and would be elected as representative for Arima in the 12th Parliament on August 20, 2020. Mrs. Beckers Robinson was elected Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives on December 17, 2007, at the ceremonial opening of the first session of the 9th Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. An attorney at law by profession, Mrs. Beckers Robinson is the first woman to have ever been elected Deputy Speaker in the history of the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. A past student of St. Raphael's Grade School and a graduate of St. Joseph Convent, San Fernando, Mrs. Beckers Robinson pursued her tertiary level education at the University of the West Indies, attending both the St. Augustine and the Cave Hill campuses, where she graduated with honors. She then moved on to the Hugh Wooden Law School, where she obtained her LEC. Mrs. Beckers Robinson was attached to the chambers of Theodore Alguera, SC, and Associates. Not only is Mrs. Beckers Robinson a resident of Arima, but her deep involvement in two of the area's community organizations, namely the Arima Foundation for the Advancement of Women and Children and the Santa Rosa Heights Community Group, exemplify, her commitment to the future of her community. Outside of her parliamentary and ministerial portfolios, Mrs. Beckers Robinson's political experience include vice chairmanship of the Arima Constituency Group, membership of the PNM General Council, and serving as the public relations officer of the National Women's League. One thing, when she came back under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley as opposition leader, when he was opposition leader, PNM was in opposition, she was sent as ambassador to the UN. I read it and I said, okay. And then this is what I said after. While Mrs. Robinson Beckers, because this is a resume, while her resume is very extensive, some may even say impressive, because somebody bring that, applying for a job in that area, and they bring that as impressive. Some people say very impressive, and you say very extensive, right? She has no legacy. She has no legacy to speak about. She has not distinguished herself in any way, right? We expect a leader to have characteristic that is formidable. Someone who could speak with authority, someone who could command the attention of people when they speak, someone with personal integrity. That's what they want, not a resume. Her resume reads well. That is why she has been in the PNM so long and serving these different areas. But that's a resume. That doesn't say who you are. That is why the new way now, when you're applying for work and things, all that way you're writing resume, they sit down and start to talk to you. And sometimes they're talking to you with nothing to do with what your resume say or with the job, because they want to know who you are. So her resume reads well. You can't deny that. It's even impressive. You can't deny that. But what is her legacy in the politics? Has she been a good debater, a good orator? What has she done in the ministry? What has she implemented? What? There's nothing there, and that is what we talk. That I am speaking about. That where the weakness to me comes, the political weakness comes there. Because as opposition leader of the People's National Movement in office now, as opposition, and a UNC that is a runaway horse with all this madness and thing we see here. We need a force in the parliament. We need when somebody stand up and talk, she respected. Ask come but if he have any respect for penalty because the political leader ask him, tell him I said to ask all, he might cuss all you do. But ask them, I say, ask them who in the executive issue, who have respect for she. Ask her those things. Or ask them those things. Ask again if she's a proxy. Ask if it is when there was a Tobago, was somebody else's name that was going to put along with your name. But when that person, it is alleged, was challenged about certain things, they back down, and then after, it is alleged the person tell others to back Mrs. Beckers. Ask the questions, because those are conversations people are having. So if you was not the first trust and you just put it, you say proxy, and you don't have any legacy, nothing you have done, whatever it is, how on earth could you tell me saying that she's weak is attacking her? Then send the things that she would have done, not a resume. I don't want a resume. I don't want nothing where she danced the calendar and she sing a calypso and she was making bait and she meet people on Charlotte Street and she have up the vagrant and she take her cutlass and cut off the head of the coconut. That is not what we want to hear about. That personal thing, that the nice part and thing, that ain't gonna work. So I'm saying again, to all those who have a view about the political leader and all who telling themselves, even now as I'm talking, why shouldn't he talking about this and why shouldn't he talk about the PNM? And it's time to fight the UNC. Fight the UNC with what? We have always been fighting the UNC. They even reach out what they're saying with UNC. All they believe that. All they believe that Jennifer Frederick is a UNC as an agent of the UNC. Me, Jennifer Frederick. We have been fighting this good fight on social media without any help. We didn't ask for no help. We ain't get no help. It have a group of people on Facebook have been fighting the good fight. Even when Kwesi Robinson there, someone he wasn't doing nothing. It's we was on Facebook taking the cost and gaining them back cost and jamming them. We and plenty of them who watching my live now is we was doing the work. And we continue to do the work. Even if they have a new social media officer who are doing nothing. Because if the conversation is the 20 videos should be carrying on so, them is the face of the PNM now on social media because them could reach the grassroots. Well, let me tell you something. PNM ain't worth nothing right now if that is the conversation. So who don't want to hear what I'm saying? Because I fighting on the PNM and whatever, only go ahead in all a little zone and little bubble, let only make it work. It done so already, whatever, that is all a business. As an individual, I have my individual right, my democratic right, a choice to choose A over B or B over C. And nobody going to make me feel guilty or try to bully me on social media or spread lie on me or tell lie on me. Because those things just come back around. It have a spiritual price for them thing because I don't do people them thing. Me and you don't have to get along. We don't have to get along on everything. We can agree to disagree. But I would never just take up myself and go on social media and drag down another individual. And who want to say dragging on the political leader, that is not drag down, that's something else. Only don't get it twisted and only emotion. I'm just saying she's weak because her political tenure shows nothing about her characteristics and her strength in debating, her strength in leadership. It shows nothing. That's her resume. Very impressive resume. And ask them again as saying, if them have any respect for she. Ask them what happened in Tobago. Ask them who have respect. They're talking about me. I must be the one who have more respect for the political leader because I'm telling her truth and telling she real to check herself. Not to grinning and skinning and behind she back. They know very well she ain't ready and they're waiting to figuratively push it through anything. Waiting the turn wherever it is. All the, come now, man, all the be real. At the end of the day, I want to see the PNM go good enough. I want to see the PNM really building. I want to see the PNM get back on track, you know. My opinion right now, PNM off track bad. Because apparently to me, people is only about where they could get, where they promise them they could get, where they should get, where they will get and all them kind of thing. My thing is simple. I want a PNM to be back up and fighting, take back over this country, run this country. For them children we're coming up on them. To give me hope, stability, take you out of this chaos and mayhem. Die my payment. I could be happy with that. Truly. I could be happy with that. Excuse me. I complain or whatever, but I could be happy with that. That to me will be the best payment ever. Right? I just make do with what I have. As small as it is sometimes, I might grump and think whatever, but at the end of the day, I go hand to hand. I want to see this country go good. So all who have problems with what I say, what I go tell all you have a choice not to listen to let me talk the thing, or you have a choice not to support. I can't do it. I can't do nothing about that. I just say thank you for the time you all support me. You're not supporting me, still thank you. Those who continue to support me, thank you. I love you, only say. That's how I just do things. And it's just what you see is where you get with me. They have too much layers and layers. Me no onion. What you see is where you get with me. So let me see all who here again, because this whole thing does be challenging sometimes in terms of getting the names of a woman less. I have a list of my people. I just call and oh God, I didn't put it by hand because sometimes whether they do or not, I call it out. But it's my people. And I ain't had anything at hand. I'll make sure I put it close at hand for Wednesday God's Prayer. So all those on Facebook, all my peeps on Facebook, I love you all. Thank you all for always supporting me. All those on Sub Central on YouTube. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for welcoming me. And thanks to the director for the space that I do in my thing. It is what it is. Love you guys. I want you all to listen to this. Or just watch this. Listen in fact and then watch. Listen and watch. This is what we listen to this.
Yeah, watch. You see this? I never vote for this. I vote for a change. And this is not change. We have our councillor, Mrs. Seema. If we see she once for the year, we see she plenty time. We are the minister since he win. We never see him. Mr. Davis Maraj. We never see him since he win. Watch. Neglecting the fucking people along here.
Yeah, that's the frustration of people. Sorry for the obscene. That's what's happening now. That's why we need a strong People's National Movement with a strong leader.
It is very easy to say, well, boy, if you put me there, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. Today, we are facing a barrel of oil at $63 US. The budget had a barrel of oil at over 75 US. I know every sensible person will understand immediately that means you're earning less money. Cost of funding 7 of the main promises or commitments made by Kamala Prasad Bisesa could be more than $18 billion.
I don't think we can have a balanced budget, so we may have expenditure outpacing revenue.
It will bankrupt Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah? People love you all. See you all on Wednesday, God's Prayer. Stay and listen to this sweet music.
Equal rights and justice for all. Rise and never fall. Tell themselves, boom. What they gonna do when enough of them not true? Say what they gonna do, them get slew, yeah. Who do you think you are? We're living in a small world. As wicked as you think you are, we're living in a small world. As bad as you think you are, we're living in a small world. As tough as you think you are, we're living in the one your name. Alright, that day will come when I stand and see all those wicked men in the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape and there will be nowhere to run. That day will come when I shall see they handing over bombs and bayonets and bullets and guns. That day will come when Emperor Selassie shall rise the wall of the ghetto youth and promote Islam, yeah. And the day I would love to see their face for all those evil they do to the human race and try to take things out of place, run away to space, shoot them in the air. After one judgment you are gonna get the taste when them find out that them can't escape. Sadness they send on the people them trace. Smile on my face. That day will come when I stand and see all those wicked men in the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape and there will be nowhere to run. That day will come when I shall see they handing over bombs and bayonets and bullets and guns. That day will come when Emperor Selassie shall rise the wall of the ghetto youth them out of this slum. Boom! Who do you think you are? We're living in a small world. As wicked as you think you are, we're living in a small world. As slick as you think you are, we're living in a small world. As tough as you think you are, we're living in the one and name now. Tell them, escape today, you can't escape tomorrow. Make sure you pay back anytime you borrow. Make sure you don't left no life in a sorrow. Make sure you're not lean and straight like arrow. Make sure your brains not push out in a barrow. Make sure you make them walk out and borrow. Yeah, make sure your meditation and narrow. Judgment, everyone tell them something the world I want. That day will come when I stand and see all those wicked men in the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape and there will be nowhere to run. That day will come when I shall see they handing over bombs and bayonets and bullets and guns. That day will come when Emperor Selassie shall rise up on the wings of the heavens and the sun. Oh yes, I will remain the same, hailing Rastafari name, and watch them going up in flames. For all the innocent going down the drain, you have to pay for the shackles and chains, and pay for this washing of the brain, and pay for these guns and cocaine, the sick and the lame. Alright, that day will come when I shall stand and see all those wicked men in the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape and